Love, light, and blessings. This shamanic ally priestess here, and I was tagged by Raw Spirit to do a video response to three fat readers. This tag that they did is it's 13 questions, and well, 12, and then bonus question 13, which I like 13. Um, and basically, it's a Hawaii tarot. Okay, so pretty much here are the questions that they did in their discussion. So I'm doing a VR to Hawaii Tarot. And the first question is, what sparked your interest in tarot? So when well, I grew up in a family of witches. So even though they didn't call themselves witches, but they were witches. Um, Brujas, a family of brujas, curanderas, healers, medicine women, so on and so forth. So um, my mother taught me how to read water because that's what she did. So she was a more using the actual elements to do readings. I did hear that about my mom's mother too, so I guess it's a Haitian thing and the Caribbean thing. Um, and then my mom taught me that, and then she taught me how to read candle flames and candle wax and things of that nature. And then it evolved to cartomancy, and I practiced that mostly whenever I did any type of divination. And then from there, I got a professional reading on my 25th birthday that she paid for. And it was the first time I ever seen the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which I never heard of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck because I did not grow up with tarot. Like I said, my family was cartomancy and reading water, reading fire, reading candle wax, really, and using no tools, just literally having spirits be conjured up, get possessed by spirits, and the spirits will read you type of situation. So I didn't get introduced to tarot till I was 25. And then I liked the deck until I saw the devil card. And then I pretty much was on and off with my spirituality, came back into it um, about 26 years old. I'm 40 now. And then when my son had issues with the pregnancy of my son, so actually, no, sorry, 25. And then really started practicing at 26. And I have a lot of videos on that origin story that how I got back into my roots and my spirituality. Dabbled in different things, New Age Wicca, but went back to my African traditional religious practices. Then I went on a psychic hotline and had a reading that way. And I saw with her, she used the Rider-Waite-Smith too. Mostly all the readers that I ever did readings with used the deck. I was afraid of the devil card and things of that nature. So my first deck was the Angel Tarot by Doreen Virtue. Um, and also when I was doing private readings, I would still use cartomancy. When I went into the psychic hotline, I noticed that wasn't as marketable as using tarot. So then I got tarot clones such as Crystal Visions and Robin Wood and tarot decks like that. And then finally, within the last 6 years, I started to really work intensively with the Rider-Waite-Smith system. So that's my story with tarot. Do you only use tarot in your readings or do you add in other forms of divination? No. I use tarot. I also use channeling. I also use the spirits, but as far as tools, I just use straight up tarot. I did in the beginning would use a oracle card to finish up a reading, but I don't have any connection barely with oracle cards. I might do a card pull here and there, and I pretty much have narrowed it so I'm comfortable getting rid of all my oracle decks except for oracle is something that does not call to me anymore. Tarot is, especially the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and its different clones and forms. That's really what calls to me because again, I didn't really use tools coming into my, I consider myself psychic. I don't have a problem calling myself that. So I don't use tools. The only reason I use the Rider-Waite-Smith or a tarot deck is because when I used to read just water or not use cartomancy or not use any type of cards, I would get really bad migraines because of all the intense energy it takes to channel purely. And it limited how many clients I could see. It made the cost of the readings go higher because I was using so much energy. So the cards are just a quicker way for me to connect to my psychic abilities and to spirit. And so that's why I use them. So I'm a very, the less tools, the better for me. Are you a psychic or a card reader? I'm a psychic. I am not a card reader. I know a card reader is somebody who like studies the meanings and kind of more goes towards what the cards say. And then you have like intuitive people that go by their intuition with the card meanings. I am a psychic person. Like I learned how to read right away in a day. Like I got a book, read it in one day, and learned the meanings. Like it just came very naturally to me. I don't mean to sound like rude or whatever, but like even the court cards and stuff, like Rider Waite Smith or clones of, it came very naturally to me to read with tarot when I actually started using tarot 6 years ago. Okay, let's see. Do you use tarot for anything other than readings, like spells, altar cards, display as art? I use them for daily draws. I do read myself predictively too. I like to do what's a one tarot card and one oracle card. So like I said, that's why I have the 4 decks that I'm comfortable with staying with. Maybe might stay with 6, but the rest of my collection I'm good with getting rid of because I don't use them. And they're in better condition than my tarot decks. But I like to use an oracle card and a tarot card, just one to 2 cards every day or every other day, or at least a couple of times a week. I don't mind the negative cards or anything like that because I do believe that we have the power to control our futures. And I like a heads up. So if I know that I'm not supposedly have a bad day or something like that, I'm kind of mentally prepared for it. So when it happens, the blow is a little bit less. I can, because you can always control how you react to a situation. So I do love like kind of a heads up notice. I don't use tarot in spells at all. I try that, it doesn't resonate with me. I rather use cartomancy, so playing cards is something that I do use in my spells along with other things. Because like I said, cartomancy is my biggest passion. I love it. So um, maybe that's why like tarot is like I'm so bonded with it. I don't know. Um, have you ever taken a break from tarot? Have I ever taken a break from tarot since I started? Um, when I started using it as a tool, no, I have not taken a break from tarot since I really heavily started getting into it in the last 6 years. However, when I first saw a tarot deck at 25, it wasn't something I put in my practice because again, I was really practicing cartomancy. But I haven't taken a break from divination at all in my life since my mom started getting me into it at the age of 15. Um, okay. If you could live in any tarot card from the Rider Waite Smith, which one would it be? The Nine of Pentacles lady. I always see myself in the Nine of Pentacles lady, someone who's about her home. I am an earth sign. I am self-employed. I'm someone who does like nice things. I feel like she's independent because in the card she's by herself, even though she is someone who might be married or have a relationship and have a nice home. She is the one that's tending to the garden of the pentacles. She is the one that has the pretty things. She looks like a very strong, independent woman that kind of made it on her own and is just pretty much the enjoying her rewards for all her hard work and being able to be more leisurely because she's put in all the work into it. So I would love to be the woman in that garden, um, just enjoying the beautiful nature outside and enjoying the rewards of my ways of my hard work. The second card that I wouldn't mind living in is the High Priestess because I love studying. I do consider myself psychic. And she's the keeper of knowledge. I always try to expand my knowledge, so I consider myself a very High Priestess energy as well. Do you use tarot in a predictive way? Yes, yes, yes. 99.99% of my readings are predictive. Again, that's how I grew up. That's my culture. That's how my family did it. Definitely use tarot in a predictive way. So yes, I do predict the future. I do believe there's certain things that are destiny and are set in stone. And So even if there's something that you cannot change the outcome of, because there are things like death, you cannot change the outcome of dying. You could prolong it, but you're gonna die. So things that are set in stone, I help the client to figure out, now that they know this information, how will be the best way to handle it? How can you work on yourself? So when these things happen, it won't be such a blow to you, or there's a better way of handling it, so that like it's not as bad as it looks now, because it's all about the energies that are around right now. um so, and then there are things like I tell people, this is not set in stone. So that kind of reading would be, what can we do to change the outcome? Because there are a lot of things that we can change, that we can make a positive outcome of. So I feel like tarot, whether it's something that's destined and set in stone, or something that you can fix in your favor, is always valuable and important, because at the end of the day, whether it's something that's set in stone or something that could be manipulated into a different outcome, and I don't have a problem with manipulating outcome of things. Everybody has their own moral compass. um, I feel that I'm still giving my client their power back, because you can always work on yourself no matter what it is, whether it's predestined or something you could change. You always have the power within yourself, how you're going to react to the situation, what kind of shadow work you might need to do, what kind of spiritual work you need to do. And it also is important because I do cast spells. I do rituals and things like that. And in my practice, we practice both hands of the practice, the right and the left. And I'm good with doing wonderful things, and I'm also good with doing justified and protective stuff. And my loyalty is to my clients, so I will help you get what you need. I always do a reading even before I do any type of ritual, to see if you're going to have a positive outcome and how to go about doing it. So my readings are very predictive. Intuitive, Rhodes, classic, modern, or mixed. I'm going to use the word psychic. I do psychic readings. Um, and I don't do any type of spreads. That does not resonate with me at all. I read very, very, very psychically, and I know when to stop pulling cards. I have my own way. Like, I don't do fancy layouts or anything like that, because I started in private practice and then in psychic hotline and their time readings. So I'm a very fast, I can give you a lot of information in 20 minutes. I just find that, and nothing against anybody else, spreads tend to like it's too orderly for me, and I can't work like that. Like, I'm all about letting my psychic abilities reign in my readings. Yes, I do have the book knowledge, but at the end of the day, it's always going to be what my spirits, what my guides are telling me those particular cards mean at that time. I can do chakra readings with tarot. I can do ancestral readings, spiritual investigations, love, money. Like, I have, like, I rotate my decks monthly because I use 6 for my reading decks, and I just use those decks. I don't need like an oracle deck to do that stuff. Like, everything just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I get pictures in my head. I get ringings in my ear. I get sensations. Like, I'm very in touch with the other side. And so if I try to put an order to that, it's like I'm limiting my psychic ability. So that's why spreads really do not work for me at all. I don't know why, but it just doesn't. Maybe it's the spirits that are the ones that give me the information. I have no idea, and they don't like that. So I feel like I read very old school and very psychically. I think that's more of my style than the choices that were given here. What are your most consistent tarot habits? Daily draws and client readings. I work 6 days a week. I do this full time. I'm able to sustain my family with it. And so I have clients that I read on Skype, and then I have people that come to me, and that kind of stuff. And then like, I used to work on the psychic hotline and my private practice. I haven't really been doing that. I did try to go back the other day. So I might try to go on periodically, not so consistent so much on the lines or whatever. But I kind of do miss some of the people that were on there. Um, so I use them for my job. Divination is a very big part of my life, because again, I'm reading from Monday through Saturday at work. So I'm doing readings anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, even 12 hours sometimes, on and off, little breaks in between readings. So tarot And readings are a very big part of my daily life, whether I'm reading for myself and mostly for clients. So, yeah. So I have very consistent tarot habits. Another consistent tarot habit I have is rotating my decks on a monthly basis, whether it's for self work, which I have 4 decks that I've narrowed it down to for that, and then 6 decks that I'm using for my. So I want to have like 10 working decks, and so again, I do daily draws for myself, and then for my clients, I rotate out the decks that I use professionally every 1 to 2 months, because the six that's 12 months in a year, so like at least I'll get to use each deck at least 2 months a year, and it's right now all different types of. There's 6 different versions of Rider-Waite-Smith decks that I'm working with. Um, so that is my most consistent habit. Also, charging and consecrating. So when I'm changing out my tarot decks, I like to do a ritual to certain spirits, psychic spirits, and motherly spirits that the decks are dedicated to. And I do that specific ritual at least once a month, but it can also be on a weekly basis depending on the energy at that time. So I do, I take away whatever energy you may have. I consecrate it. I like to reorder my decks a couple of times a month. And then when I put it to sleep for a couple of months, I like to put it back in the order, in its natural order, from the Fools all the way to the 4 minors. I cannot live with a deck that's not out of order. When I'm going to permanently put it away for a while, I like my decks to be reordered because that kind of recharges them. So those are habits that I do a lot. I've started to put my working, like the main one that I work with clients, in a beautiful box. And then I did a trade with Diane Jarecki. And she, in one of the decks that she sent me, has a beautiful leather. It's like a purple leather case. I'm going to probably show it on my favorites video because I really want to share that, but I don't have it on me right now. And I love putting my decks in there. And then on the outside is the wooden box. Like, it's just beautiful. I love it. And with the crystals, I like to have like 3 or 4 crystals that I place on top of my decks. Okay. That was a long answer for that question. Okay. Number 10. Do you see tarot as a magical tool, a spiritual tool, a psychological self-help tool? All of them. I see tarot as a magical tool. I see it as a spiritual tool because I feel like, even though I don't use it a lot in magical like spells or whatever, I do feel like it is magical because I feel like tarot helps me because I can communicate with spirits on the other side, but I feel like they guide me when I'm doing readings for people and stuff like that. Like, it just gives me that connection. I think that's one of the reasons why I have such a tie to Rider-Waite-Smith and cartomancy, because I feel like that's what my ancestors felt most connected to, especially cartomancy. So I feel like it's magical how that tool helps me to really connect with them. So I feel like it's a magical and spiritual tool. I really do believe they're showing me the future. I do believe I can help people psychologically with it because I do those types of readings as well. I feel like I give a sense of power back to my clients, and helping them how to create the situations, how to manifest what they want, and how to deal with those things we can't change, unfortunately. Do I collect tarot decks? I have a collection of tarot decks, but I won't say I'm a collector. There's people that have hundreds and hundreds of decks and things like that. I try to keep my collection down to under 60. That is the number that I feel comfortable with. But now that I'm really not drawn to Oracle, that's going to drastically bring my collection down to probably less than 40. And I'm okay with that as well. And then as I start to purge some of my tarot decks, I might even further bring down my collection. So, because I have 10 working decks, but I do have some decks that I'm like, because right now I'm at 35 tarot decks. But a few of them I want to get rid of. I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of my collection because a lot of them are like heavily used and chipped and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think they're worth trading or selling, to be honest. Yeah. So I don't consider myself a collector because all the decks that I have are working decks. And even the ones I'm not working with right now, they pretty much have had heavy use. So they've all been used, chipped, bended. I mean, they're in rough condition, but I love it. They're very used and worn. So I don't consider myself a collector. As I said, I read professionally, so I do use them for work or for myself. Do you have an aesthetic when it comes to the types of decks you enjoy? Do I have an aesthetic for the types of decks that I enjoy? Right Away Smith and mass-produced decks. I have two indie decks, and while I respect them and they're cool and everything, um, it takes too long to get them in the mail. They're really expensive, and because I read professionally, I don't always want to read with a very expensive deck. And then if they become out of print, then if I do mess up the deck, how am I going to replace the deck? So indie decks really don't appeal to me as like really. I have only two in my whole collection. One of them is the Melanated Tarot, um, and things of that nature, which I worry about. Like if I use it heavily, will I be able to replace it? Because sometimes people stop producing indie decks after a while. And I think right now she's sold out. I think she's gonna come out with a second printing. I'm not sure, and I might just buy a backup copy when she does that, and just know that it takes a long time to get to me. I don't have the patience. I'm used to like Prime, and you get it in 2 or 3 days, and you have a deck. And with mass-produced decks, I know that I can always get a replacement deck. They're also more affordable. So when I'm reading with them and they're getting all messed up, I'm not really putting a large amount of money because any decks could cost anywhere from over $40 to some of them are even in the hundreds. So and that's just too expensive for me, and things of that nature. So, and I don't collect them, so I don't like to have decks that I'm not going to use, that kind of thing. So my anesthetic is mass produce, Right Away Smith decks, or Right Away Smith clones. I like decks that look very Right Away Smith. I love the system, and I like to see the redrawings of them, like the Morgan Greer, Hanson Roberts, Crystal Vicious. Those are all clones to me. Like my collection is clones. I don't like artsy decks. I don't like abstract stuff. I don't like that. I like to be able to pick up a deck and read with it right away, and not have to figure out what are you trying to say. And even those decks, I'm going to read it with the meanings and psychically, but still, like, I like very straightforward decks. That's it. That's my anesthetics. Boring to some, but that's what I like. And then, do you personify your decks? No. The decks are just tools to my spirits and to my psychic abilities, so they don't really have a personality to me. I can read with the albino, which is my newest one, in the same way that I could read with the playbacks, melanated writer, I think is Radiant Wise Tarot or something like that. The Los Cabrero version. Like I can read with all those decks the same. I could do any types of readings with the Right Away Smith deck because again, I use more of my psychic ability than anything else. So it's just a way to connect quicker so that we can get the reading going and you can get what you paid for in the reading. So that's pretty much my answers. I try to keep it really short. Thank you so much for watching. I wanted to do this quick tag because I'm going to be setting up some things so people can start paying for the mentorship courses today, for those that I want to start making payments on that. Also, because I'm not going to be able to probably record any videos to July, I have 4 really big topics I want to talk about. So I'm doing research, I'm praying to the spirits, and I'm taking notes down. And I'm still working on the book that I'm going to be featuring in these classes. So I have a lot of stuff going on besides private and professional reading. So I thought I would do a quick tag just to like put a video out. And then I'm going to try to get the other videos that I talked about, the drowning the spirits, doing your own flow with the water, my Santeria house story, and all those like 4 other the 4 topics that I mainly wanted to do a video on. I'm going to be getting those out. Okay, so much love, light, and blessings. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until the next video, guys, bye.